Have you ever heard the saying, if a man says he is not afraid of dying, he is either lying or he is a Gurkha? Who are the Gurkhas? Where do they come from? And what makes them some of the most respected and feared soldiers in history? Get ready, because we're about to unravel the incredible legacy of the Gurkhas. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Jaxom Talks channel. Today, we're diving into a fascinating and incredibly rich piece of military history, the story of the Gurkhas. You've probably heard the name, maybe even seen their distinctive khukuri knives, but do you really know their origins and the incredible bond they share with the British Army? Our story begins high in the Himalayas, in the landlocked nation of Nepal. This isn't just any picturesque mountain range. It's a crucible of hardy, resilient people, and among them, the Gurkhas. The name Gurkha itself is believed to derive from the 8th century Hindu warrior Saint Guru Gorakhnath, whose disciple, Bappa Rawal, founded the House of Mewa. Later the Shah dynasty, who unified Nepal, also had strong ties to Gorakhnath. So from the very beginning, there's a sense of deep-rooted heritage and martial spirit. For centuries, various small kingdoms and principalities dotted the Nepalese landscape. It was in the mid-18th century that a remarkable leader emerged, Prithvi Narayan Shah. He was the king of the Gorkha Principality, a shrewd and ambitious ruler who envisioned a unified Nepal through a series of brilliant military campaigns and strategic alliances. Prithvi Narayan Shah forged what we know today as modern Nepal. His warriors, naturally, were known as Gorkhalas, or Gurkhas. The life in the mountains was tough. It demanded strength, endurance, and an unwavering spirit. These very qualities became the bedrock of the Gurkha identity. They were masters of the terrain, moving through the steep hills and dense forests with an agility that baffled outsiders. Now, this newly unified and expanding Gurkha kingdom eventually bumped up against a growing power to its south, the British East India Company. By the early 19th century, the British were consolidating their control over India and their borders were inexorably pushing towards Nepal. The stage was set for a clash of empires, and what a clash it was. The Anglo-Nepalese War, fought between 1814 and 1816, was a brutal and costly affair for both sides. The British, with their superior firepower and numbers, expected a swift victory, but they hadn't accounted for the ferocity, the tactical brilliance, and the sheer indomitable spirit of the Gurkha warriors. Imagine British soldiers, accustomed to fighting on the plains of India, suddenly facing an enemy who knew every inch of the treacherous Himalayan terrain. The Gurkhas, armed with their fearsome khukuris, that distinctive, inwardly curved knife and often outmatched in weaponry, fought with an almost superhuman bravery. They not only launched daring raids, but held strategic forts against overwhelming odds and inflicted heavy casualties on the British army that to that point was dominating the world. One of the most famous anecdotes from this war, and one that truly cemented the Gurkha legend in British minds, was at the Battle of Kalanga, the siege of Nalapani Fort. General Gillespie, a respected British commander, was killed trying to storm the fort. Despite their eventual defeat due to dwindling supplies, the Gurkha defenders, under the command of Balbhadra Khan, earned the grudging respect and admiration of their enemies. Even after their ammunition ran out, they charged the British lines with their khukuris before retreating in good order. It was this extraordinary display of courage and martial prowess that led to a pivotal moment. After the war concluded with the Treaty of Sugarli in 1816, the British, instead of seeing the Gurkhas merely as defeated foes, recognized their immense potential as soldiers. They had just fought against some of the bravest warriors that they had ever encountered, and a smart decision was made. If you can't beat them, recruit them. So this is how the tradition began. The first Gurkha regiments were raised, initially as part of the East India Company's army, and later integrated into the British Indian Army. This wasn't just about finding good fighters. It was about forging a bond built on mutual respect. The British understood that these men were not mercenaries in the traditional sense, but warriors with a deep sense of honor and loyalty. From that point on, Gurkha soldiers became an integral and revered part of the British military machine. They served with distinction in countless conflicts around the globe. We're talking about the Sepoy Mutiny, the Afghan Wars, the Boxer Rebellion, and both World Wars. In every theater, they upheld their reputation for bravery, professionalism, and unwavering loyalty. During World War I, over 200,000 Gurkhas served, earning an astonishing number of gallantry awards in the brutal trenches of the Western Front, the unforgiving deserts of Mesopotamia, and the rugged hills of Gallipoli. Their courage shone brightly. Fast forward to World War II, and again, Gurkha regiments were at the forefront. They fought in the jungles of Burma against the Japanese with incredible tenacity, earning the nickname the Chindits for their deep penetration raids behind enemy lines. Their fearlessness in close quarters combat became legendary. Their battle cry, Ao Gorkhali, which means the Gurkhas are here, struck fear into the hearts of their opponents. They were masters of stealth, close quarters combat and survival, turning the jungle from an obstacle into an ally. The bond deepened further after India gained independence in 1947. A tripartite agreement was signed between Nepal, India, and the United Kingdom. This allowed Gurkha soldiers to serve in both the Indian and British armies. This ensured the continuation of a tradition that had by then spanned over a century. Today, the Brigade of Gurkhas remains a vital and highly respected component of the British Army. They've served in every major conflict since 1947, from the Malayan Emergency and the Falklands War to Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Their motto, "Better to die than be a coward," isn't just words. It's a code they live by. The selection process to become a Gurkha in the British Army is one of the toughest in the world. Every year, tens of thousands of young Nepali men apply for just a few hundred places. The tests are grueling. One of the most famous is the Doko race, where recruits must run uphill for several miles carrying a wicker basket, or doko, filled with 25 kilograms of sand. This isn't just a test of physical strength. It's a test of determination and the will to never give up, the very essence of the Gurkha spirit. What makes this link so enduring? It's multifaceted. For the Gurkhas, serving in the British Army offers not just a career, but a continuation of their martial heritage, a chance to provide for their families and the opportunity for a respected life. For the British, it's about having access to some of the finest infantry soldiers in the world, disciplined, adaptable, and incredibly brave. The mutual respect is palpable. British officers often speak of the Gurkhas with immense pride and affection, and the Gurkhas, in turn, hold deep loyalty to their regiments and the crown. The relationship is built on shared sacrifice, unwavering trust, and a deep appreciation for each other's cultures. You see this respect in the unique traditions that persist: the annual Gurkha memorials, the celebration of Gurkha Welfare Trust, which supports retired Gurkha soldiers and their families. These are all testaments to a bond that transcends mere military service. It's a human bond, forged in the crucible of battle and tempered by the decades of shared experience. But what truly makes a Gurkha? It's not just physical strength or fighting skill. It's a deep-seated code of honor, an unshakable loyalty, and a humble, cheerful disposition that contrasts sharply with their fierce reputation in battle. They are known for their honesty, integrity, and a powerful sense of duty. This character is forged from a young age, nurtured by strong family values and the demanding environment of their homeland. So, the next time you hear the name Gurkha, I hope you'll remember their incredible journey from the mountain kingdoms of Nepal through fierce independence to becoming an integral part of one of the world's most renowned fighting forces. Their story is one of unwavering courage, deep honor, and a unique, unbreakable link with the British. Let me know in the comments below what other military histories you'd like me to explore. That's all for this episode of Jaxom Talks. If you enjoyed learning about the Gurkhas, please hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more deep dives into history and fascinating stories. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.